Hey, these are the AirPods noise cancelling version. Okay, so this is recording on the Liberty 5 Pros.
For a lot of people, choosing a pair of headphones is a pretty simple decision. But there are also actually a ton of other options from, well, all the well-known names, but also from some less well-known names. So when Soundcore asked if I wanted to check out their new set of earbuds and let me compare them to the leading competition, alongside a newsletter subscriber also telling me that I should try Soundcore headphones, well, colour me intrigued. Now, of course, all thoughts and opinions are my own, but of course, for transparency, this video is sponsored by Soundcore, so you might want to take that into consideration.
You just want attention, you don't want my heart. Maybe you just hate the thought of me with someone new.
Now, feature-wise, broadly speaking, we are at the stage now where all earbuds are pretty close when looking at the spec-to-spec comparisons. But there are still some interesting differences here. Now, notable omissions are both the Apple AirPods Pro 3s and the AirPod 4s, and the Pixel Bud Pro 2's lack of support for LDAC and high-res wireless codecs, though all the others do provide support for high-quality audio, whether that's LDAC, high-res, or Snapdragon's aptX adaptive. But a lot of that does also come down to the phone also needing to support these standards. But putting them in price order here, we have the Soundcore Liberty 5 Pros at the bottom end here. Then next up we have the Pixel Bud Pro 2s, the AirPod 4s, which are the noise cancelling edition. Then we have Soundcore, which also have their Liberty 5 Pro Max model, and the AirPods Pro 3s, then the Galaxy Bud Pro 4s, the Sony XM6s, and then at the very high end, the Bose QC Ultra IIs. But let me tell you now that even though these are the prices, that doesn't have much reflection on how some of them perform in quite a few different areas. Now, design-wise, there are a lot of similarities going on, but the obvious ones here are the Soundcore that have these screens going on. Now, I keep hearing rumors that the next generation of Apple AirPods will do this. Now, the Liberty 5 Pro have this smaller, like front-facing touchscreen to do things like changing the sound control, pairing mode, ANC, Find My, all those kind of things. Whereas the Liberty 5 Pro Max has this full touchscreen on the top here, which gives you very similar features, but offers additional functionality, including the use of using the case as an AI note taker, which listens and then transcribes any meetings or calls or anything else you might be in on. And then between the AirPods and the Galaxy Buds, we have the classic kind of stem design that is now very, very classic, and a lot of people are starting to replicate with their own design. The Sony and the Pixel Buds opt for their own kind of smaller, more bulbous, I guess if you call it, design, which kind of sticks out your ears, or the Pixel Buds sit more flush with your ears, but the Sonys definitely stick out your ears a lot. And then we have the Bose QC Ultra IIs. Again, these are the Ultra ones right here, but the design has not changed that much. And along with both of these Soundcore models here as well, actually, they have this oval shape, and they have this extra like rubber piece here that then doubles up as an ear hook, which then secures these earbuds better into your ears. And actually, I really do like this design, because I have found with other earbuds, these are my Apple AirPod Pro 2s, I found myself looking at, I'm not going to get them out because they look horrible, but I find myself looking for third-party foam ear tips, which do help them fit better and like stay in your ears. But there is absolutely no need here when you have this type of design, which with that extra kind of like a wing design, I guess you call it, that then locks into your ears. So, for me, in terms of what does stay in my ears, the Bose, the Soundcore, also weirdly, the AirPod 4s do, mainly because they're just so light and small. They just don't tend to fall out of my ears because, again, they're just not heavy, whereas the likes of the Sonys, they're very heavy, and there's a lot of weight, pulling out of your ears. There's nothing locking the Sonys into your ears. And so I would just say, generally, for me, the rest of them I really struggle with staying in my ears for long listening sessions without having to constantly, readjust or push them back in and make sure that they don't fall out of my ears. Now, as far as the cases go, for me, I would always say the smaller, the better here for just being easy to throw into a pocket. The larger screen cases are definitely more awkward to travel with, but what I will say here is that they are more secure than any of the other cases. If you accidentally drop them, they are less likely to, fling your headphones halfway across the room, like basically happens all the time with especially AirPods. But with that said, and especially with the Liberty 5 Pro Max, those internals do add some weight to the case. And also, I don't like how flimsy the cases can feel if you happen to like push them at an angle. The hinge feels like it could be a problem if you, really put some force into it. Now, the other cases here all feel quite solid, especially around the hinge design. They are rock solid on all of these cases. Now, it is nice having quick access to the various options you have on the case screen. So, if you don't want to pull your phone out, then you can just do this. But generally speaking, you can use either the case, controls on the earbuds themselves, or just a specific app on your phone to control many of the features here. Now, generally speaking, the things that most people care about in a pair of earbuds are their noise cancellation, the audio quality, the battery life, the mic quality as well for calls, and also their fit, and I'm going to include here how easy they are to sleep in. So audio quality first. Now this is a really difficult thing to show you and demonstrate, no matter what people think here, me recording what these sound like with a microphone, which then goes into our editing software, which then gets uploaded to YouTube, who does, God knows what to that audio, and then you listen to this through your phone or your TV speakers or your own headphones. It's just not a good comparison. Plus, audio is the most subjective thing I've come across on YouTube here. It totally depends on your own tastes as well. So what I will say is I've been using these headphones, all of these headphones, when out and about in all sorts of situations, on the train, at the gym, meetings, and I'm not actually going to rank the earbuds in terms of their audio quality, because again, there are just so many nuances here, from how they sound with a flat EQ to after they've been EQ'd. Also, age plays a part of it, with me toggling the option for how old I am, with it boosting some of the higher and mid frequencies. But generally speaking, once they are EQ'd to your liking, all of these earbuds, all of these flagship earbuds, including the budget soundcore options, I guess, can get you sounding to a really great point without sounding muddy with all of that wall of sound effects that you can get with some earbuds. Now, it's worth pointing out here that again, the Pixelbud Pro 2s and the Apple AirPods don't support that higher quality LDAC or anything, so that does hamper those of you who really enjoy, the ones that can hear the difference between that higher lossless quality and just, regular wireless audio. Now, one thing I will also note is that the Sony XM6s is, whilst the EQ is excellent, they can be frustrating to adjust. If you're trying to fine tune one frequency and your finger slips over just a little bit, it then starts adjusting that frequency instead, so you just have to be very careful when you are adjusting them. And the Bose also only have a 3-band EQ, which is quite frustrating. On the soundcore side of things, I do like the soundcore app's approach here. It plays you music when you first go through the app with different preset EQs, where you just then choose which one you prefer, whilst it then continually narrows down the best EQ settings for you, which you can then go and adjust further if you wish, but I found that was quite a nice touch. But that aside, I will say that the soundcore have a really nice punchy bass, if you're into really punchy bass, which I am. Now, I was at a recent press event for the launch of Sony's new 1000X, the collection headphones, and they mentioned that even though everyone strives for, really flat frequency response, they do also lean into what consumers dictate as, a nice sound. So that usually means increasing bass, and also some of the high ends for that sparkly kind of sound at the top. So just keeping that in mind. I will say the AirPod 4s are more mid-heavy. The Bose QC Ultra IIs only have a 3-band EQ again, which again, for the most expensive buds, seems to be a real oversight here, especially when the sound quality is still good, but probably the weakest of the earbuds, I would say. They sound more like they've just taken the bottom on top of the 3-band EQ and just turn them up whilst turning the mid down. It's a bit of an odd choice here. But again, like I said, generally speaking, all of these do sound great. So if you aren't sure which one to get, then don't focus on the sound quality, focus on, all of the other stuff instead, because that'd be more important. Now, where you can hear the difference though, is the mic quality here.
Okay, these are the AirPods noise cancelling version. Okay, we are now recording with the AirPod Pro 3s. Okay, these are the Bose QuietComfort Ultra II in earbuds. Okay, these are the Galaxy Buds 4 Pros, which I have high hopes for because they sound really good. These ones are the Pixelbud 2 Pros. We are now filming, recording with the Sony XM6s, except they won't stay in my ear, so we can't really do anything with that. Okay, so this is now the Liberty 5 Pro Max headphones. Okay, so this is recording on the Liberty 5 Pros. Fair bit of wind right now, but walking on busy roads, lots of cars, traffic noise. We've got a jet washer going on now, cars going past, outside, a little bit of wind this time. Again, there is some wind, there is some traffic noise. The weather has changed, it's now very, very, very rainy. So again, outside, lots of wind noise, lots of cars going past. Again, sorry about the shaky handwork there, but outside, lots of cars going past, a little bit windy. Again, outside it's the school pickup time, so there's loads of cars walking loads of cars driving rather. Fair bit of wind. Again, comparing the audio quality, we're walking down a busy road, lots of cars going past. Very windy as well. This is walking outside on a busy road, lots of cars going past. Fair bit of wind as well, so just see what the audio quality sounds like. So after listening to everything back, I will need to point out that these guys actually hold the Guinness World Record for call clarity. And with that said, I was very keen to actually listen to all these recordings back and see how everything compared. And so I'm just gonna put them all out here for how I felt they all sounded, and then maybe you can do the same thing on your side. So I feel like the Sonys were the most surprising at really not being that good at all. Like they're really in the last place here. Then I will place the AirPod 4s, just because as soon as there was any form of like wind noise, it just then cancelled the microphone out, which was pretty bad. And also I'm gonna kind of put the Pixel Buds and the Bose just in the same kind of category there. They just didn't really sound that great. And then I will actually do joint place here for both Samsung and the AirPod Pro 3s. They sounded very, very good. I will say the AirPod Pros and the Samsung sounded like closer to my actual voice, but really, really surprisingly, soundcore, both pairs of the soundcores, I would say, did sound, in terms of like call clarity, like being able to hear what I'm saying, they did sound really, really good. Like really impressed with how well those sound. So yeah, fair play. They're very well deserving of the Guinness World Records.
Now, noise cancellation is our key test here. Again, there's plenty of situations that I've been testing with on an airplane, on buses, on trains, kids screaming at me, those kind of things. And I would say, in terms of like the order of which ones are the best, the AirPod Pro 3s do win the category for me. However, the Sonys and the Bose QC Ultras also very, very good. Galaxy Buds, I would say next. Then actually, it's the soundcore. Both of the soundcores, very, very solid. And then we kind of got the Pixel Buds and then the AirPod 4s. And this is how I would position them from like best to, I mean, it's not really worse. Like the AirPod 4s still have excellent noise cancellation on them. The Pixel Buds do, but I just find the seal around my ear isn't the best. And then the soundcore, for the value of the soundcore, I'm very, very surprised that the soundcore sit this high up considering the price of those earbuds. Now, in terms of battery life, there are 3 joint winners here. You have the AirPod Pro 3s, the Sony XM6s, and the Pixel Bud Pro 2s with up to 8 hours on a single charge with ANC enabled. So for most people, that's good enough to get you through, most travel scenarios, whether, you sat on a plane for 8 hours or what have you, whatever that's worth for the Pixel Buds with their noise cancellation as it is. Then the Soundcore Liberty 5 Pros at 6.5 hours, which again, pretty good considering they are the cheapest here. Then the Bose, and then the Galaxy Bud 4 Pros, and then lastly, the AirPods 4s with ANC, which barely lasts 4 hours with that. Now, sleeping is another one that I want to cover here. I do travel a lot, and I also know that a lot of you want to know whether you can sleep with these buds in. So I know from first-hand experience how annoying it can be to put buds in, lie down, and have the buds either fall out or trigger your voice assistant, or even worse, stop, or even worse, start playing like music mid-sleep, which absolutely sucks. Now, a lot of my time when traveling, I use my in-ear headphones as more like earplugs because they're actually better than silencing noises than actual earplugs are. So what I would say here are AirPod 3s are great. Again, now you can't turn off the play pause button, but since it's like a squeeze to change it, it doesn't happen. Galaxy Buds, also great, and you can disable the controls completely so you don't have to worry about any of those issues. Soundcore, also, you can totally disable the touch controls and they're comfortable to sleep in, so that is great. Pixel Buds, you can disable it, but I've been doing it and it doesn't work. Like, I disabled it in the software, but it still controls it. It doesn't work for some reason at the moment. Maybe that's like a firmware bug right now. The Sonys, I just find uncomfortable and actually painful if you're sleeping on like a harder surface because it really like pushes into your ear canals. It's a really horrible experience. The Bose, you can't disable the stop and start features, but you can disable like the custom overall action. So there is that. And the AirPod 4s, I just found they just fell out of my ears. And again, noise cancellation not being great on them means they're not great for sleeping. But again, as like the cheapest AirPods, they are great, but certainly when looking at like the Soundcore, which are cheaper than the AirPod 4s with better noise cancellation, and you can disable the controls and you can sleep with them, very, very good pair of earbuds. So this is how I would line them up in terms of their sleep performance, I guess. So overall, I think there is a really, really good selection of earbuds here. And you may already have a personal preference, like I said at the beginning, Apple to Apple, Samsung to Samsung, Pixel to Pixel, maybe Really, we want to get the most out of the ecosystem features such as switching between devices. But outside of this, I am genuinely surprised at how well the most affordable budget soundcore headphones held their own here. I wouldn't say they're best in class at any particular thing, but one of the most rounded products I've seen before, and especially again when you consider that they are the most affordable of all the earbuds here. So I really would recommend a pair of these to anybody looking for a pair of earbuds in the future. Actually, I'd be interested in checking out some of their over-ear headphones now, just to compare and see how they do compared to the competition. But let me know what you think. Which headphones are you currently using daily? Do you have different headphones for different activities like gym and traveling and that kind of stuff? Definitely check out the soundcore earbuds. I will leave a link down in the description down below. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.